Okay, guys. This is my predictions for UFC 130. As you know, 130 was going to have a main event of Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard, but you know, both of these guys got hurt, so Rampage and Matt Hamill got moved up to the main event. So it's now Rampage versus Hamill as the main event. Let's first start off with Stann and Jorge Santiago. Excuse me. You know, I say as far as Stann goes, I think he's an excellent stand-up artist. As far as his striking and stuff goes, Jorge has some good striking too, but he really shines on the ground. I would say that if the fight stays standing up, Bryan Stann basically really has a very good chance of knocking Jorge out. But I see Jorge taking him to the ground, taking Bryan Stann to the ground, and basically keeping him there and going for a submission and submitting him. So that's my prediction. I say Jorge Santiago is going to submit Bryan Stann in the second round. But like I said, once again, if Bryan Stann can keep it standing, which I don't think it will stay standing, because I think Jorge would be very, very smart by taking it to the ground and using his superior grappling skills. So once again, Jorge Santiago wins by submission, second round. Let's go to Thiago Galvez versus Rick Story. This fight here, I just don't see Story having an advantage at all, other than the whole heart thing and not really giving up. Does that help sometimes? Yes. But against Thiago Galvez with the kicks and the striking, so long the cut doesn't kill Thiago, I think he doesn't get tired out and by the third round and just get dominated and get knocked out. I just don't see Rick Story coming out of this one with the win. Not by decision, and not even with the knockout. I mean, crazier things have happened, but I just really don't see Rick Story outstriking Thiago Galvez at any portion. Even with the jiu-jitsu, I don't think, he just has he has a better wrestling pedigree, I believe. But he does, as far as the jiu-jitsu and striking goes, he's very outclassed. So Thiago is going to win by, I say knockout, third round. Then we have Stefan Struve versus Travis Browne. I wasn't very happy with this card being on the main event, or this match being on the main event, just because you have Miguel Torres fighting on the undercard, and I would prefer him to be, on the main card. But Miguel Torres is, not really that popular because he's really just fighting to win, and he's doing that for himself, as he should. Nobody wants to get cut from the UFC because you're fighting for an exciting fight. But you're putting yourself at risk to get knocked out too, and he's not really into that game. He wants to fight to win, so he's going to fight the safest fight possible, which is the reason why he's in the undercard. But back to the Stefan Struve and Travis Browne match. I really didn't like it because of that reason, but Stefan Struve has this huge reach advantage, great striking ability because of his reach. And his jiu-jitsu is awesome because he has the long limbs. I just really don't see, once again, Travis going in there and just dominating Struve unless he gets in the inside and does a KO. That is about the only way that I can see that happening. If he just gets in the inside and KOs Struve, just like Roy Nelson did. He got in the inside and pretty much closed the gap. And that's what you have to do with Struve. You can't allow him to use his long limbs to dominate you and take you on the ground, submit you. You know, it's just a nightmare going against a guy that lengthy, so you have to get in the inside and control it, and that's the only way Travis is going to win, if he gets in the inside and throws a blow and catches him good. But I don't see that happening, so I have Struve's winning the fight by decision, unanimous decision. Then we have Frank Mir versus Roy Nelson. It's a very exciting match to me, only because I've seen them fight at Grappler Quest and things like that, and Roy really, dominating Frank in Grappler's Quest and a couple of grappling tournaments and whatnot. And I've really grown to respect Roy because of his physique and still being able to compete at that high of a level and not his cardio not be a factor. I mean, his cardio is still a factor, don't get me wrong, because you can't be, but his cardio, for as big as he is pretty good. And him using what he can to win fights and having a good heart as far as continuing to fight. When he fought Dos Santos and he was getting banged upon, he was still dangerous. In that third round, he was still dangerous. He was still coming forward, throwing huge rights, overhands. And Frank Mir is going to try to do that. He's going to stand up. He's going to stand up with Roy, because on the ground, from Grappler's Quest and other grappling tournaments they've been in, Roy is a superior grappler. He's a better grappler than Frank at the heavyweight weight. And that's just what it is. He's just a better grappler than Frank. And Frank knows that, and he doesn't want to take it onto the ground. He wants to impose his size and his strength on Roy. And so what he's going to do is keep it standing and hope to use his reach and things of that nature and strength and his size really to control Roy in the stand-up game and knock him out. And that's what he's going for. So and also use his kicks, knees, and everything else. So, on this fight, I still have Roy Nelson winning. I still have him winning this fight, and I say he's going to win it by unanimous decision by using footwork and staying out of the reach of Frank and using his footwork and boxing skills to get in and get out, push him up against the cage, get in, get out, and I think Roy has the better boxing skills. Even though he's kind of sloppy with it, he still has the better boxing skills as far as the footwork goes. He's just not going to try to slug it out. He's just going to, pinpoint boxing. So I have Roy Nelson winning this fight by unanimous decision. Using, like I said, stepping in and out, using his boxing skills. So the main event is Rampage versus Matt Hamill. The problem that I have with Rampage is that, I've watched his interviews, some of his quotes, and his main thing is that he's using MMA as a platform to move into movies, or using it until he gets his next big movie role. He made the mistake of thinking that he was going to become this big movie star and pretty much telling everyone that he's going to retire and that's it and he's just going to, do movies. I knew that wasn't going to happen because he's not that big of a movie star. He's not even close. He's not The Rock. He's not, he was only doing, Mr. T in a A-Team movie. And, he got famous because of fighting. He got known because of fighting. And he's decided that he was just going to forego that and just go ahead and get into movies. I'm getting confused because I am a true Rampage fan. I love Rampage. I love his his how funny he is. I love how funny he is. I love that he's that he tries to knock people out. I love his brawling style. It's just a very entertaining. He's just very entertaining to watch. But what I'm getting fed up with is that he's not really trying to. He's really not training as hard as he can to go against these guys. He's not. He's saying he hates training, but he's going to do it anyway. I'm going to quit MMA after I get done. He's always complaining about what made him who he is, and that he wants to get out of it as quick as possible. Now, I understand that fighting isn't a quote-unquote, the best business to be in as far as your body goes and financially wise, and that you can do a lot more easier things and make a lot of money and probably enjoy life a little bit better than getting your face, smashed in or something, But he has to show that he's interested in fighting, that he's willing to try to make a run for the championship, that he wants to train to be the best. Because if not, then you lose fans. People say, why do I want to spend my money on you or spend my money to watch you fight if I know you're not going to even try to fight? If I know that you're not really trying to train, that you're just doing this until you can basically get away from this and make more money doing something else. But he's going against Matt Hamill. Matt Hamill asked for this, who's an excellent wrestler, as we know. And that is Rampage's biggest weakness, which is his wrestling. It happened with Rashad. Rashad wrestled him to death. And, Rampage, it won't be the last person that Rampage goes against that will try to wrestle him. That's his weakness. Standing up with him is a tough thing because he has just really heavy hands. He has really heavy hands. Matt Hamill is trying to work on his striking ability, and yes, he's had a couple of knockout reels, especially that kick of landing on someone and knocking them clean out. But at heart, he's a wrestler, and that's what Matt Hamill's going to do. He's going to try to wrestle Rampage to death to get the win. And that would be my game plan going against Rampage too. I would wrestle him to death. I would basically wrestle and ground and pound and try to get him tired. And then, possibly in the third round, he'll be so tired to where you can try to knock him out. It's very hard to do that with Rampage. He has been TKO'd before, but not completely just blown, knocked out, that just hasn't happened. But I believe that Rampage will win, but he will win by unanimous decision. But it will be, Hamill has a chance to win this by grinding Rampage out. Rampage really doesn't, everyone knows what Rampage is going to do. His style is the same. It never changes. When's the last time you seen Rampage throw a kick or try to take someone down and do jiu-jitsu or grappling? Or he doesn't. He's a brawler. He's a striker with the fists, using boxing skills. And that's reason why we love him, because he goes in there to fight, and he wants to go against guys who wants to fight. And he's one of those guys who hates to go against guys who's just gonna grapple him to death. And that's what Matt Hamill's gonna do. And Matt Hamill has a chance to win this only if he grapples, only if he wrestles. That's it. But I really don't see that happen. I see Rampage really keeping him off. Matt Hamill kind of is out of his league going up into this tier of fighters. But don't get me wrong. This really is Rampage's fight to lose. It's really that simple. If he didn't train and didn't do what he was supposed to do in training camp, it's his own fault for losing this fight. So anyway, that's my review for, my predictions for UFC 130. Please rate, comment, subscribe as always. Let me know what you guys think. You think Rampage is do you think he's slouching? Do you think that he should, try to train harder, not make excuses, not tell everyone that he hates, at least fake it like you enjoy it, try to keep your fans, tell me what do you guys think about Rampage and his and where he's going in MMA? Do you think he's going to get knocked down, or do you think that he still has a fighting chance of being champion? Let me know. Once again, thanks for watching my video. Peace.